Okay, yeah. So I have started the recording. So first of all, I will introduce myself and then I will talk about what we will study in this course and then how the overall course will go. I will give a overall brief about everything. And then if you have doubt at any place, you can just ask me, okay? So yeah, my name is Abhishek. I have total 8 years of experience in Azure cloud industry, and I have done around 7 to 8 projects in this cloud field. And as you all know that every project is not kind of a new project. So whatever I have done, I tried to make a course out of it. So basically, we will do 3 projects in this particular course, and then by doing this course, we will basically target this as your data engineering. So after doing this 7 to 8 years of projects, I have made 3 projects out of it, which basically I will teach you during the course. So all of you who are here, the main agenda of all of them, I guess basically you guys are here to either do some sort of project in Azure cloud industry, or you are here to find a job in Azure cloud industry, right? So that is a basic agenda everyone has. So and whenever you go for a real time project, when you want to do real time project in any industry, or when you are approaching for an interview, the basic thing people want is you should do some sort of projects. So yeah, so we will do 3 projects end to end. These are the 3 projects we will do. First project is this, second project is this one, and then third project is this one. Okay, so we will do 3 projects, and after the project, I will also help you with all sort of interview questions which I have given, which I have prepared by giving multiple interviews by myself, or my many of my students are going through the interview. So I will give you all of this interview question of different company which I have prepared by myself. So yeah, so basically we are doing projects and then we are preparing for the interview questions, which also I will give you. So yeah, so this is how the course will go. So, and also here, everyone who are present are basically targeting for Azure data engineering field, right? So first of all, we need to understand what this field is about, and why basically this is so trendy, and why everybody is learning about it. Okay, so first we need to understand why basically it is needed. Azure data engineering is needed, and why it is important nowadays to study about it, and why everybody is interested in this cloud field, that we will talk about first. So yeah, so I will just give a very layman example and try to explain you different roles which is present in Azure cloud industry, and specifically what will be the role of Azure data engineer on a day-to-day basis, that we'll understand first, and then we will basically approach this 3 architecture diagram, and then we will basically study it. Okay, so yeah, so just to begin with, suppose I will give you example of a company. Suppose, yeah, so I will give you example of Walmart. And yeah, so so suppose Walmart has data centers, right? So Walmart is daily opening and closing their store. They are daily doing the sales in their store. So they have some sort of data maintained in their servers. So yeah, so suppose they have some sort of data maintained in a server. So they have maintained the data in a server. And now like Walmart wants to move the data to the cloud. So what Walmart wants now? Walmart wants to move the data to the cloud. Okay. And why Walmart wants to move the data to the cloud? Let's understand it in a very layman terms, that in the past we used to store our data in pen drive. We used to store the data in CDs, hard disk, or in all of those places we used to store our data. But nowadays we are whenever somebody asks us to share any photos or share any sort of data, upload those data in the cloud and then share it, right? So that is what we do. And why do we do it? Because it is very, we don't need to maintain it. We can just purchase the cloud storage very easily. And we can easily upgrade our storage. So because of those benefits, we basically store our data in the cloud, and we are not relying, we are not basically totally using those sort of traditional storage, right? Because that is, this is convenient. Similarly, for Walmart, it is basically very easy to share their data to different people, and also it is very easy to maintain this data point. So I have written it like, what are the different advantages of the cloud, which you can just understand it. So it is basically, uh, it is all handled by the cloud service provider. Data loss and recovery is very easy. Upgrade is very easy. You can basically collaborate with everyone very easily. And then yeah, so everything will be handled by the cloud service provider. So because of these advantages, every company wants to move the data to the cloud. So suppose now what Walmart wants, Walmart wants to move the all sort of data which they have to the cloud. That is what they want, right? And in the end, I want to basically prepare some sort of visualization through which like their stakeholder will be able to understand what is suppose daily sales or employee of the year, product of the year, all sort of visualization they want to make. And at the same time, they also want to predict like what will be the forecast of the future, and all sort of thing they also want to do. They want to basically predict the future. That also they want to do, right? So yeah, so first they want to move the data to the cloud, and then they want to make a visualization, and then they also want to predict future, and then understand what will be the future forecast sales in February, and all sort of thing. Also Walmart wants to do, right? So now data engineer job is to not basically do everything here. So I will try to explain you what data engineer will do and what specifically Azure data engineer will do, right? So data engineer's job to first basically help Walmart to move their data from one place to another. So yeah, so basically data engineer, Azure data engineer will basically help in extract and then transform and then load. So what Azure data engineer will do? Azure data engineer will basically help to move the data from this point to this point, which is to move the data from the on-premise server to the cloud server. That is what he will do. And then he will also help to transform the data over here. Once the data is moved over here, this is the extraction part in which we are extracting the data from one place to another. And then he will also help in the transformation part. What I mean by the transformation, suppose if you are moving multiple data points, then suppose if I want to find out total sales happened in a particular city, so I need to join basically the data of the cities, and also I need to join the data of various customer, various sales, and then I will be able to find that particular KPI, right? So I need to basically transform the data as well. And then I will basically load the data to the Power BI for the visualization. So I will finally load the data to the Power BI for the visualization. So data engineer job is to do the extract, transformation, transform and load the data to a particular server so that uh, concerned person can use it. So that is the job of a Azure data engineer. Now, what are the other roles which is here, which are here? So basically, once we load the data analyst, what data analyst will do? Data analyst will take those data points which data engineer has prepared, and then data analyst will basically make all sort of dashboards. So he will basically analyze the data to do any sort of descriptive analytics. So any sort of descriptive analytics that data analyst will do. Now, if we want to do any sort of predictive analytics, let's suppose if we want to predict the future, if we want to basically understand what will happen in future, that data scientist will do. And now, what are the other jobs which are lying around? like as in Azure field, now is basically Azure admin or Azure infra guy. What Azure infra or Azure admin will do, they will basically secure the overall environment. Whatever development is happening, they will secure it. So all the networking, firewall, all of those things, Azure admin or Azure infra guy will do. Okay. Now what DevOps engineer will do, Azure DevOps engineer will do. Azure DevOps engineer will do. Azure DevOps engineer will take the environment, like whatever development someone has done in the development environment, he will take everything and move that to the production environment, move that to the test environment. That DevOps engineer will do. So yeah, these are the different roles which are there in Azure cloud field. We are specifically learning about Azure data engineering role, in which we will be learning about what is extract, how to do the transformation, how to extract data, and how to load the data. That is what we will understand in Azure data engineering field. But if like, and also you will be working very closely with the data analyst, data scientist, Azure admin, Azure infra for because they need your data, whatever you're preparing. So you will basically like talk to them and then work with them very closely. Now, as I told you that we will be doing this architecture diagram, right? So first of all, we need to understand how this architecture diagram I have spoke about over here, right? So we basically want to move the data from Walmart servers to the cloud server, and then we will transform the data, load the data. How this completing is basically same as here, right? So that we will speak about. Forget about right now what is data factory, what is blob storage, all of these things we will learn during the course, but I will just try to explain how this architecture is basically similar to this architecture what we are targeting over here, right? So here basically we want to move the data from source on-premise server. This source is suppose on-premise server. What I mean by on-premise server, you can consider on-premise server as my computer or a local server of my Walmart, or local server of your local server is your computer, right? So similar to over here, this is the Walmart server, this is the on-premise server, okay? And when you're moving the data to the blob storage over here in the cloud, this is suppose a Azure cloud storage, which is storage, which is the storage present in the cloud. So we want to move the data from here to here using data factory, because if you want to move your luggage from point A to point B, you need some sort of device, right, which can help you to move the data. Similarly, data factory will basically help you to move your data from any on-premise server to the cloud storage. Okay, data factory will help you. And then transformation part will be done by Databricks or SQL Server. What we are learning over here, this once the data is there in the cloud, do some sort of transformation. And transformation part will be done by a Databricks or a SQL Server. Okay, so once transformation is done, we will load the data to the Power BI, and then this part will come. Yeah, so this part will come, loading part will come. So we will extract the data, then we will basically transform the data and then load the data to the Power BI. So this is the first architecture which we will target, which we will do by using Data Factory, Blob Storage, Databricks, SQL Server, and Power BI is not like completely we will learn, but because this is the part handled by data analyst, so we will learn how to load data to the blob storage, read write the data to the Databricks, move the data to the SQL Server, do all sort of transformation, and then finally make it ready for the Power BI. This is the part which we will learn, which is the extraction, transformation, and then loading, right? Using data factory. This is the first architecture. Now this architecture is kind of similar to this first architecture, but like totally currently it's our agenda is not to understand every architecture. First, we will target this architecture. This is what we should understand first, right? And how we will approach this, we will do tiny bit, like we will do this bit first, then we will do this bit, then we will do this bit, then we'll do everything from the start, and then we will build it, right? This is how we will go. Now definition wise, what is cloud and cloud computing? Let's understand this. What is cloud and cloud computing? So cloud is nothing but you are not accessing your computer, you are accessing someone else's computer on pay-as-you-go model and on-demand. So in the past, we used to like go to a internet cafe and then we used to pay money to them to basically use their computers, right? So it's just like that. We are not accessing our computer, we are accessing someone else's computer on pay-as-you-go model and on demand. So practice of using a network of remote server hosted on internet to store, manage and process data rather than your local computer or personal computer. On demand and pay as you go. On demand and pay as you go means whenever you want a resource, you can opt for it and you need to pay like the money uh, as you use it. Okay, you don't need to pay money if you're not using it and all sort of things. So basically it is on demand and pay as you go. So we are learning Microsoft Cloud, which is Azure Cloud. There are other cloud players as well in the market, which is like Amazon, GCP, VMware, Alibaba. They also offer a cloud service, right? Any doubt till here, guys? If you have any doubt, please ask. If you have any doubt, you can stop me anytime and ask me the doubt. Okay. If you have any doubt related to whatever I've explained till here, you can ask me now.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between Azure Data Factory and Databricks?
Azure Data Factory will basically help to move the data from one point to another. So suppose if I go over here, Data Factory will uh, help you to move the data from point A to point B. That Data Factory will do. Databricks will help to transform the data. So it will help it. Databricks is built in Spark engine. So it basically a processing engine which helps you to transform the data. So suppose once you move the data, it will help you to basically manipulate the data and then join the data, do all sort of processing that Databricks will do. Data Factory is a orchestration tool. It helps you to move the data from one point to another and orchestrate the whole process that Data Factory will do.
Okay.
Okay. Any other doubt, guys? Okay, fine. If you don't have any doubt, like I'm moving forward. Yeah, so practice of using a network of remote server hosted on internet to manage, store and process the data on demand and pay as you go. Now cloud in general has two types. Okay, deployment model and service model. In deployment model, we have three types of cloud: public cloud, private cloud and hybrid cloud. In service model, we have three types of service, which is like IaaS, SaaS and PaaS. I will try to explain all of them in very simple words, which might be interesting for you guys. So yeah, so I will remove this. What is public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud? Suppose Microsoft opened a Azure cloud. Okay. Now, suppose Walmart came to Microsoft that, hey, we want a cloud service from you. Okay. Walmart came to Microsoft. We want a cloud service for you. And similarly, suppose TCS came to Microsoft. Yes, we also want a cloud service for you. Suppose SDFC also came to Microsoft and then they also said, we want a cloud service from you. Now, suppose Microsoft has a various data centers everywhere, right? So what Microsoft will do, like Microsoft will say that, yeah, Walmart, this is like we have a data center and this premise is for you, right? This premise is for you in our own data center. Similarly, Microsoft will give a TCS as a in their server, they will give a space to TCS and then they can do all sort of thing in their premise, right? And similarly, they will give the premise to SDFC Bank as well. Okay, so they Microsoft given like uh, in a server they have given various space to each company. That is what they have done, and then it is highly secure. It is all confidential, well maintained by Microsoft. But now suppose SDFC says that we don't want you to give space in your own premise. We have a data center already with us. What we want, you come to basically our premise. Why? Because our data is very, very confidential, and then we don't want to share it with your servers. Can you please come to our premise and set up a cloud server for us? Okay. So that is a private cloud in which a particular cloud service provider will basically go to their premise and do the whole setup for them. That is a private cloud. And when they are using a shared servers, which can be like shared by everyone, that is a public cloud. Okay. And then suppose if a company is using a mix of both public plus private, that is a hybrid cloud. And most of the companies using that itself, because like they have a their own server which they want as a cloud setup. So suppose they have the company is very old, like a 50-year-old company, and then they have an active directory stored like in their cloud service, in which they have a role assigned for every employee and all of that. Then they will do a mix kind of setup itself, in which they will opt for a private cloud plus public cloud. But in simple word, what is public cloud? Public cloud is nothing but when you are using a server which is shared, like Microsoft have various data centers and they are providing service using those data centers, right? What is a private cloud? Private cloud is nothing but like you have a own premise and then you want a cloud service provider to come to your premise and do the whole setup for you. That is a private cloud. What is shared cloud? Shared cloud is sorry, hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is nothing but mix of both. Okay, that is hybrid. What is public cloud, private cloud, or hybrid cloud? Now, if I go to okay, yeah, so I'm moving forward. What is IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS? What is IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS? IaaS is an infrastructure service, SaaS is software as a service, PaaS is platform as a service. Okay, in very, very simple terms, if you're just getting a machine, if you're just getting a machine, so suppose this is my computer, I'm just getting a machine, that is a IaaS. If you're just getting a virtual machine, that is a IaaS. You're not getting anything to basically go and code. You're just getting a machine, that is IaaS, which is a virtual machine. Okay, when you are getting something in which you can go and do the coding and then build your software, that is PaaS, platform as service. Upload a code package and have them to run without your access to hardware, that is PaaS. So SaaS is just like uh, pre-built software. So we basically email, Gmail, Drive, whatever software we are using right nowadays, that is SaaS. Okay, email, Gmail, software service, a pre-built something ready to use, that is SaaS. Okay, so yeah, so service model, IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS, infrastructure service, software service, and platform as a service. This is all theoretical. Basically, been if you go for exam AZ 900 or DP 900, these questions will be asked. Less important from the practical perspective, but yeah, important from if you just go for exams like Microsoft certification exam. In those cases, they will ask you that what is public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Generally, in 90% of the cases, you will be working with the public cloud. Generally, I have worked in the public cloud mostly always, and then there is a private cloud, hybrid cloud as well. Now, we will learn about how to get a subscription, how to make a management group, sorry, how to make resources, what is management group. We will learn about that now. Okay. Before doing that, let's go to this architecture and then also see which part we are learning right now. Okay. So we are focusing on this particular architecture. As I told you, we are first targeting this architecture, this part of the architecture in which we need a on-premise source. We need a blob storage. We also need a data factory so that we can understand this particular part. Okay, this particular part we will understand first. So what is on-premise source? Your computer. We will consider our computer as our on-premise source. Okay, that is our own server, our own computer. From our own computer, we will make a storage in the cloud, which is a blob storage. Just like your drive, similar to Google Drive, we have a Azure blob storage data lake, in which we will basically store our data. And then how we will do it? We will move these data points using data factory. This is the first part. We will learn this particular part for now. Okay. So this on-premise server, we do have it. Our computer, we do have it. We will treat it as on-premise server. We first need a blob storage and also a data factory. Then we can do this part, right? And to do that, we need a subscription, because if you want to watch a movie, you need a Netflix subscription. Similar to that, if you want to work in Azure cloud, you need a subscription. Okay. And to do that, you can go to like portal.azure.com. Let me open it in the incognito mode. You can go to portal.azure.com and then you type your email ID over here, create account. Okay, create account. Your email ID can be any email ID offered by Google, your Gmail email ID, your Yahoo email ID. You can use any email ID. It's not necessarily should be a like given by Outlook. Okay, you can use any email ID and make your account. Once you make your account, then you can come to this particular window which I was showing you before, portal.azure.com, and log in over here. So with your own credit card, you will get 1 month of free subscription. That is what you will get. Yeah, so once you make your account, your window will look like this. Okay, once you make your account, and if you don't have a subscription, your window will look like this. Okay, in which you need to get a like uh, first you need to get a 1 month of free subscription, in which you will get $200 as a like just to try your work. Okay, so you can spend $200 given by Microsoft, but you don't basically need all of them. You need at least like $30, $40 is basically enough to whatever we will practice during the class. It is way more than whatever we are looking for. Okay, so what we can do, we can basically share our subscription as well. So suppose today Raj has made the subscription, so everybody can use the Raj subscription, or Punit has made a subscription, so everybody can share the Punit subscription as well without Punit sharing the email ID. Okay, so one of the student can make the subscription and everybody can basically share it. Okay, it is not necessary that everybody needs to make the subscription, because it is 200 is too much to basically practice what we will do during the class. Okay, so you can start it, you can complete the process, you can give your credit card detail, and give, if you have created the subscription in the past as well, then you can basically, you need to give a different credit card, different number, different email ID, and then you can make your account. Once you make your account, then your window will look something like this. I will show you. Yeah, so once you make your account, you will see this 15,000 INR. It is in Indian currency, but just like $200 approx you will get, right? Once you make your account, this is how your window will look, okay? In which you can go to the subscription and then you can check whether you have a free subscription or not. So yeah, I can see a free trial, and this is my free subscription in which I am working. So this is the first process in which to work in the Azure cloud, we got a subscription, okay? Now the second process is to make a resource group. Okay, so first, before making the resource group, let's understand what is resource group. What is resource group and why basically it is needed. Now, whatever we are making over here in this architecture, whatever we are doing to make Azure Blob Storage, to make Data Factory, or to make Databricks, to make Azure Synapse, all of these are the resource offered by Microsoft. Okay, so all are various things are resource. Okay, just like Google has a various softwares, right? So it has YouTube, it has like Google Maps, it has Drive. So it has different software. Similar to that, Azure had different resources to make this complete architecture. It has Data Factory, it has Blob Storage, it has Databricks, it has Synapse Server. Okay, so these are the different resources of Azure Cloud. And to group them properly, we have resource group. Okay, so if you open one resource group, for example, if I open one resource group, I will be able to understand what are the resources present under this resource group that I can understand. So I have one Data Factory, Blob Storage, Key Vault, storage account. So all of these resources tagged under this resource group. Why we are grouping it? So suppose if you have like 10 projects, you can make 10 resource group and then make, like, suppose I have this KPI dashboard project, for example. So all the resources which I will make under this resource group. Okay, simple. And if I want to control the access, so for example, like I want to give access to Raj, Siva, Puneet, only this, and I want to give Michael and others this particular RG1. So I can just manage it, right? So when you join a company, all the employees are tagged under a manager so that a manager can manage all the permissions. So similar to that, if we have multiple resources, we tag under a resource group so that we can manage them properly. As simple as that, right? So here, first we will get the subscription, then we will make a resource group. That is the second process. Okay, so then we will make a resource group. One second. Then we will make a resource group. So I will hit create over here. I will type a resource group name, and then you need to select the region. Okay. So suppose I am typing Central India over here. You can type your own region. Now your question can be which region we need to choose over here. Okay. So suppose let's think about in very layman terms. So suppose if you want to move your company has a server placed in East US, for example. So they have the server placed in East US, and you when you are moving it. So suppose you created your resource group. So for example, Microsoft has a data center everywhere, right? So you can create a resource group in any region. Which region you should choose for? You should choose that particular region in which your data is already present. So suppose this particular data is present in East US, for example, right? Then if you create your cloud resource in India, for example, then your cost will be more, right? Because Microsoft needs to move your data from East US to India. Instead of that, what I can choose, I will choose the resource group in that region only. I will choose US, East US only. East US only. In that case, my cloud resource is also East US. So it will be easy for Microsoft to move the data. So it will be less costly. Okay. So generally, all of these settings will be given by the infra guy, as I told you, right? So there's an infra guy who maintain whole infrastructure. So that infra guy will basically tell in which region we need to create all the resources and all of that. Generally, it is close to your data center in which the data is already there. It will be close to that. Okay. So here I am choosing Central India, for example. Now tax, this tax is nothing but like suppose owner is Abhishek. Now anything like just a proper tagging mechanism so that anybody can basically reach to this resource group. Okay, so whatever you want to environment is dev environment. So it's just like a notes which you want to make while creating this resource. Okay. Now review and create. Here we are just checking everything looks fine, and then we will hit on create. Okay. So it will validate it and then it will create a resource group for you. So yeah, so resource group got created. Okay, suppose this is my for example, this is my resource group in which there's no resources for now there is no resources. Okay. So first we made a subscription. So yeah, so let's go to the slide again. First we made the subscription. The second step is we made a resource group. Okay, that is what we have made. We made a resource group. What is management group? Management group is nothing but if you have multiple subscription. For example, I have 5 subscription, 6 subscription, then it will be managed by management group. Okay. But generally, as a developer, you will not have access of a management group. Why? Because yeah, you will not basically deal on that particular level that you're maintaining multiple subscription. Okay, generally, like you will manage resource group, but subscription, if you have multiple subscription, then it will be managed by management group. Management group, subscription, resource group. Resource group we created. Now resources. Okay, so resources we will create after this. If you have any questions still here, please ask me. So till now we started with understanding different roles, that what is the role of a data engineer. Data engineer role is to do extract, transform and load. Data analyst will take that data, analyze it, make dashboards, and then give it to stakeholders. Data scientist will basically do a predictive analytics. Okay, infra guy will basically maintain the whole infrastructure. So that is what we have understood. Then we will understood what is a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS. We also understood that we will target this particular architecture. Then we made a subscription. Then we understood what is a resource group. Okay. So till here, if you have any doubt, please ask me now, or else we'll move forward, study further.
Abhishek, I have a small question, Abhishek. Adi
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Adi.
So, as you said, like, when we create a resource group, right? A resource, right?
Yeah.
So you said there will be a specific team which they are maintaining the resources, like as you said, Azure Infra, right?
Yeah.
So let's say if you don't have any Azure Infra guys who are maintaining, so suppose this task came to us, right? In such cases, so how do we how do we know? I mean, this information, like the reason. How do we select? I mean, this reason. I mean, which reason we can create the resources. All this information can we get from the users or the stakeholders or the no whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get
So
that information.
yeah, so just like for example, now
Hmm.
you are already existing data center. Suppose you got a project for Walmart, for example, right? So you
Yeah.
will ask stakeholders that currently your data center is present in which place, your on-premise data center. So
Okay.
suppose they said that, yeah, our data center is present in East US, or they have
Hmm.
said West US, or they said UK, for example, anything which they have said. So
Yes.
generally your cloud region will be also in that particular region itself. Why?
Hmm.
Because you cannot, so suppose you said that, no, I will create in Central India and all of that. There should be a reason for it, right? So you
Yes.
will not
Correct.
basically create the data center in a different region. You will create in the same region so that data movement is easy. If you create in
Yeah.
a different region, you can do that, but the
Yes.
cost of moving the data will be more in that case.
Yeah.
So
That
yes,
that I got, but the only thing is, no, do we get that information from the user side?
yeah.
So
So stakeholder will
yeah.
tell you about it.
Okay.
Stakeholder will tell you about it, that in which
Yeah.
region your already existing data center is there, and
Okay.
then accordingly you can basically create it in that region itself. Yes.
Got got Abhishek.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, guys. Any other questions?
I have one question.
Yeah.
For example, if I make this like a trial account, do I need to select India or in Europe somewhere? Because if I, as I understood that if I make, uh, geolocation far from, my working place or what, then I need to pay more. But I understood like this.
No. So this particular so your question is, when you make an account, you can choose any region. That the region is not a problem. So when you make account, this is the account making process, right? So currently you make Azure dot we went to the Azure portal.azure.com, and then you made an account. That is what you have done. So this is a free trial. in which you are practicing things. So for that, there is no worries. When you are moving the data for your company, for example, in that case, you need to choose the reason in that particular. So suppose when you got a task to move the data for Walmart or for any company, in that case, you need to choose the region in that particular area itself so that the movement is easy. But for making account, you can just make account. That's not a problem. You like, this is just a account process. Yes.
No, for no, this is another main thing is that, for example, companies in India, if data stored in US, that it is expensive.
If your company has a data stored in India and then they want to move the data in US, for example, then it will be costly as compared to they will move it in Central India cloud itself, right? So like it's so suppose Microsoft has a data center everywhere. Okay, it's not like whatever you are storing in the cloud, it is also stored in a data center, right? So it is basically taken care by Microsoft. Okay, so what is cloud? Cloud is just Microsoft is storing the data for you in various data centers. Now, if you have an on-premise server which is there in the India and you will move the data to East US clouds, then it will be expensive as compared to moving the data to the cloud server in India itself. Is it clear, Raj?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question, guys?
So, so now this data engineering in Azure is a SaaS service, right?
Not totally. Data Factory is a PaaS service. Not totally, it
Okay.
is a SaaS service. Why, how do you, like, why you're thinking it's a SaaS service? Have you read it somewhere?
No, I haven't read anywhere, but since I feel like we are going to do everything in this portal itself. Yes.
No. It's not a SaaS service. SaaS is like suppose in this Azure cloud, you can make virtual machine as well, right? So I can make a virtual machine over here, virtual machine. That is a
that is
IaaS
again
service.
yeah.
IaaS service.
Yeah.
And now if you make Data Factory, that is a PaaS service. So you have different services over here, which is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS as well, which you can suppose Logic App might be a SaaS service. So yeah, so basically you can create any resources, whatever you want to create, and you have all the services, IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So this
yes.
data engineering in Azure is almost like a cloud version of business intelligence.
Data engineering in Azure is cloud version of
the earlier Microsoft Business Intelligence, MSBI.
yes. So they previously they had this IASS, IS, SSRS, SSAS, right? Now this is basically Azure Cloud is a cloud version of that. Yes.
Okay.
And do you know about SSIS, SSAS, SSRS?
Yeah, I know about them, especially SSIS, and yeah, I worked on all those three as a DBA, but not like developing the packages and all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, fine. Any other doubt, guys? Okay, so again, I will again show you what we are targeting. So we made a subscription, we made a resource group. We haven't made any resources till now, right? So now the resource will come. Now I will again show you the architecture which we are targeting. We are basically this architecture, right? So suppose now we need blob storage, we need Data Factory, we have an on-premise server, our computer. Then we will understand how to move the data using Data Factory from on-premise server to Azure Blob Storage. That we will understand now. Okay. So for that, we need Data Factory and we need also a blob storage. Okay, that is what we need. So what is, first of all, what is blob storage, that we will understand. And like, okay, so this is blob storage is nothing but a part of a storage account. What is storage account? Storage account is nothing but a resource offered by Microsoft in which you can store any kind of file. Audio file, video file, CSV file, Excel file, XML file, JSON file, Parquet file, any kind of a file you can store in the storage account. Okay, that is storage account. Now storage account has 4 types. Okay, what are those? Let's see. Either you choose to create a blob service or data lake Gen 2, file service, queue service, and table service. Okay, file service. So now this is a blob service, file service, queue service, and table service. Okay, these are the 4 types of the storage account. Yeah, storage account has 4 types. Either to choose to create a blob service or data lake Gen 2, file service, queue service, and table service. Okay, so mostly we will be learning about a blob service or data lake Gen 2. Then you have a file service, queue service, and table service as well. File service is being used to share large file. Queue service is to handle messages. Table service is to handle NoSQL database, right? Now from the definition wise, you can understand file service, queue service, and table service. File service is being to use, like you can share large file. Queue service is to handle messages. Table service is to handle NoSQL database. But we will be mostly focus the whole course on the blob service or data lake Gen 2 because this is you will work on this particular storage 99% of the time. Okay, so this will focus mostly on this one. And in this storage, you can store any kind of file, as I told you, audio file, video file, CSV, Excel, any kind of a file you can store in this particular storage. Okay. Now, what is a blob service and what is a data lake Gen 2? Okay, that I will explain you now, which is a part of a storage account. So if I go over here, this is a storage account. It has 4 types: blob service, file service, queue service, and table service. Okay, so we will basically now we will understand what is this blob service and what is this data lake Gen 2. So if I open blob service, for example, here you can see this is a container. Container is nothing but a folder. Okay, this container is nothing but a folder. So in Microsoft terms, we call container as a folder. Okay, so if I open a container, here I can ideally create a subfolder, but in blob service you cannot create a subfolder. Means you cannot create a directory. Directory is nothing but a subfolder. Okay, that you cannot create. Okay, but if I go over here in data lake Gen 2, so here storage account has 4 types: blob service or data lake Gen 2, queues, file service, queue service, and table service. Now if I go over here, I can basically, here if you see the data lake storage written over here, right? If I go over here, you will see blob storage is written over here. Let me show you. Blob service. Okay, so either you can choose to create a blob service or you can choose to create a data lake Gen 2, that I will explain you. But let's go to data lake Gen 2 and then understand what is the difference between both of them. Okay. If I open data lake Gen 2, if I open this, then here you are getting the option to create a directory, which is nothing but a subfolder. Okay, so here we have a container which we call it as a folder, and here directory is nothing but a subfolder. But in data lake Gen 2, you are getting the option to create a directory. If you see, you are getting the option to create a directory, which was not there in the blob storage. And also you're getting the option to manage ACL, access control list. Okay, what does it mean? So suppose now Raj and Puneet is working in a project, and then Michael is in some other project. Okay, now I want to give Raj and Puneet the access of folder 1, and I don't want Michael to see the folder, okay, this particular folder. So I can basically give the Michael access of this particular folder, so that Michael can only access this. So folder level access I can manage in the Data Lake Gen 2. Okay, and also I can create a directory in Data Lake Gen 2. These are the two advantages of Data Lake Gen 2. In blob storage, you cannot do that. Okay, so that is the older version of the storage. Now Data Lake Gen 2 is the upgraded version of the storage, in which you can create a directory. You can manage ACL, access control list, in which you can manage the folder level of access. Okay. Now Data Lake Gen 2 is a futuristic solution because it is an upgraded version, because you can segregate your data in much more finer way, right? You can create a directory, you can create ACL and all of that. Now Data Lake Gen 2 is a futuristic solution as compared to the blob storage. Okay. Now this is also very, very important from the interview perspective. Okay, so during the class, if I'm saying that this particular question is important, this question is actually very important. So pay attention, note down it somewhere, because all of these questions I have noted down all the questions, made summary out of it, and then from all of this interview, PayU, PayPal, Fractal, all of these interview, I have tried to combine those questions. Okay, so please pay attention and note down it somewhere. Now what we have understood, that in blob storage, we have a blob storage, we have a Data Lake Gen 2, which is a part of, both are part of storage account, both are part of storage account. Okay, both are part of storage account. In the blob storage, you cannot create a directory. You cannot create a directory. Means subfolder. Subfolder means subfolder. And also you cannot here, like you cannot manage ACL. You cannot manage ACL, which is access control list. Okay, that you cannot manage, which you can do over here in the data lake. Create a directory, and second, you can manage ACL over here as well. ACL over here as well. Okay. And then this is a new version. This is a new version. This is the old version. This is a futuristic solution. Okay, futuristic solution. Okay, this is a kind of old side. This is cheaper, but like much more cheaper than a blob storage. Okay, so here you can say the storage account has 4 types. Either you can choose to create a blob storage or Data Lake Gen 2, then file service, queue service, table service. This is a storage, and this is the one part of a storage in which either you can choose to create a blob storage or Data Lake Gen 2. In blob storage, you can create a directory inside a container. Sorry, you can create a directory inside a container in the Data Lake Gen 2, which you cannot in the blob storage. Also, you can manage ACL. This is a futuristic solution. Blob storage is a old solution. Okay. Now, we created a subscription, we created a resource group. This is the one resource which we learned. Here we can store any sort of file, audio file, video file, all sort of file we can store over here. Now we need to understand how to create a storage account, right? So to do that, you need to go to storage resource group. You open your resource which you have created, and then you hit create over here, right? And then here you can search for blob or data lake. These are all the resources. Okay, so here we are searching for data lake. it will take you to this window, but ideally we don't we don't create like this. You can directly search over here as well, like suppose storage account, you can hit create, and then you can directly hit create over here. That also you can do. And here you can choose your subscription or resource group which you have created. Type your storage account name. Select the region and then move ahead. All the setting we are not touching right now. Okay, so all the settings are by default. I will tell you the setting which is basically important for you. So this particular setting is important for us. If you select this, it will create a data lake Gentoo. If you don't select this, it will create a blob storage for you. You can understand as well hierarchical namespace complemented by data lake Gentoo endpoints, enable file and directory semantics, accelerates big data analytics workload, enable file level file access control list ACL, which we have understood. So basically hierarchical namespace means you can basically make a directory, store your data, all of that you can do. And then directory semantics means you can make a directory. It is for big data analytics, because if you have big amount of data, then you can manage it like segregate your data perfectly. And also you can manage ACL, access control list. So if you select this, it will create a data lake Gentoo for you. If you don't select this, it will create a blob storage for you. So I'm selecting this. Let's move forward. Everything is by default. I'm not changing anything. Okay. Now hit create. Created. If I go to data lake storage, yeah, so here you can see this data lake storage. I can type the container name, input, create. This is my data lake storage. I can make directory over here, which we have understood, directory folder. Okay, all of these things you can do in data lake Gentoo, and also you can see this storage created over here, storage account. And then this is the storage, right? You can see this particular storage is a part of your resource group as your class resource group. Okay. So yeah, so this is how we can basically create the storage account. So I'm going to this particular part again, this architecture diagram, which we are targeting right now. Yeah, so here we created this Azure Blob Storage. We do have an on-premise source. Now we will create data factory, and then that's all for today. So we'll first create data factory and then we'll revise a bit and then we'll close the call for today. Okay, so let's understand how to create a data factory now. Similar way, we will search data factory over here. What is data factory? Data factory is, let's first understand what is data factory, right? Let's create it and then I will give you an overview of data factory. Okay, so here we'll search data factory. We will hit create. Data factory is also a resource. Okay, so part will be a part of resource group again. So here we will select this resource group. We will type the resource group resource name. We will configure the Git later. Everything is by default. I'm not changing anything. Create. It's created. Now I'm going to the resource group, which is Data Factory. I am launching it. Okay, so from here you can see Data Factory, which you have created. I am launching this particular resource, which I have created. Let's launch it. Let's go to Data Factory. So what is Data Factory? Data Factory is basically allows you to create a data-driven workflow for orchestrating data movement and transforming data at scale. It is a ETL service for data integration, data movement, and transformation. Offers no code UI. So here you don't need to code anything. You can just drag and drop the activity and make your pipeline. For example, in this particular case, in this architecture which we are targeting, suppose I want to move the data from this place to this place, right? So I will paste a copy data activity, for example, and I will select my source. What is my source? What is my destination? Which means what is my sink? This will be source will be my on-premise server. Sink will be the blob story which I have just created. And then accordingly we'll move the data. But it's not so easy. We will understand it like how it will be done going forward. So yeah, so for in the today's class, what we have covered, we first of all started with what is the data engineer job? Data engineer's job is to do ETL, extract, transform, and load. Then we understood what are the different model of the cloud, service model, and then deployment model in public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Public cloud is nothing but like you are getting a server given by Microsoft. If you want your own server and then you want Microsoft to come in your premise and do a whole setup for you, that will you will use a private cloud. Hybrid cloud is nothing but mix of both. What is IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS? IaaS is an infrastructure service, SaaS is a software service, PaaS is a platform as a service. If you're just getting a normal computer, then it is a infrastructure service. PaaS is if you're getting something in which you can go and code, that is a PaaS. Software services, pre-built software. Okay, that is a SaaS. Then we understood what is a subscription. Okay, then like how to make a resource group. We made one resource which is a storage account, and we understood what is storage account, the difference between a data lake gen 2 and a blob storage. That is what we have understood, and also we created Data Factory. So the homework for the next class will be, first of all, if you haven't installed a SQL server in your computer, try to install a SQL server in the computer. That will help you in the class. So I will give you a YouTube link kind of through which you can install a SQL server. Yeah, you can refer to this particular link through which you can install the SQL server. So install SQL Server on premise. Now second is make storage account, sorry, make your subscription. Then third is make storage account with blob storage. Make storage account with Data Lake Gen 2. Make a storage account with Data Lake Gen 2. Okay, and then make data factory. Make data factory. And if any one of you has created a subscription, you can just share the subscription with others. You don't need to create a new subscription. Okay, so if any one of you has created a subscription, you can share it among others. And next month, you don't need to create a subscription. Someone else can make it in our class, and then you can share it across. Okay. So yeah, so that's all for today class. The next class will happen on Tuesday or either Wednesday. I will inform in the group, and then accordingly we'll decide the timing. That's not a problem. So yeah, so if you have any questions with respect to today's class, please ask me now so that I can clarify your doubt if you have any.
So how does this can share subscription like with the email ID, like just we log in with their credentials or only
Sorry,
the subscription
come
name
again.
or something?
Sorry, what you said, Siva?
Let's say if I want to use others subscription, how do I use that, like with their
Yeah, so
credentials or?
no. So you can be part of their directory. So suppose currently I will show you the process, the complete process going forward. But suppose here currently I'm using my one of my students' subscription, and then like I am using my own email ID. So you can basically invite anyone in your subscription to work with. Okay, so if anybody has created a subscription, you can be part of that particular subscription, and I will show you how you can be the part of that subscription.
Okay.
Yeah, that I will show going forward. In the next class, I can show. So once you created a subscription, anyone has created a subscription, please inform me in the group so that like you can share it across. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Abhishek. So, Abhishek, I have a few questions, Abhishek.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of course content, basically.
Yes.
So, in the Azure Data Factory, are you going to learn all the activities, or there are any limited in that?
We will learn about for each activity. We will learn about lookup. We will learn about copy data activity. We will learn about stored procedure, notebook activity. Then we will learn about get metadata activity, web activity. All of this activity we will learn about. So there are so like they will learn about data flow activity. We learn about all of this activity, whatever is like kind of important. But
Okay.
suppose there is a webhook like so I will not say I will teach you every activity, but I will teach
Got
you
it.
activity which is barely
Mostly
like
used.
enough. Yeah, mostly used.
Mostly used.
And then which will be the scenario based, like so I am teaching you the project, right? So whatever
Yes, yes.
activities I have used in that project, I will teach that. Yeah.
Okay. So again, let's say if we consider a specific project, right? So we will be having a different environments, right? Like now we need to move a few of the resources from the one stage to another stage, or one environment to another environment, right? Let's say I have a data factory, right? So in dev environment, then I want to move the same data factory to a test environment. So even this can be discussed, right? In
This
upcoming
is
session.
a like so I will tell you how to do it using like a data engineer, how a data engineer will do it, that I will teach you. Okay, so now the things are like suppose there's a DevOps engineer who takes everything which is present in your environment and he moves that. Yeah.
Yes, I got, I got I got that, DevOps engineers are going to do this, but let's say uh, if you want to do from our end as a
Yeah,
data
yeah.
engineer,
As a
yeah,
data engineer, how you will do it, that I will teach. So suppose this pipeline can be exported
Yes.
And then imported manually, but automated how to make release pipeline and all of that. That's the DevOps engineer job. But how
Okay.
manually it can be done, that I will teach.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Do we require any coding for this training? I mean, for example, Python or like that?
So for this training, you don't need to require the coding understanding, but what you need is like during the course, you need some sort of basic SQL understanding. Like suppose you should know like what is delete, drop, truncate, what is select star, very basic SQL. That is why we today downloaded a SQL server in the premise, so that I will also guide you that how you can approach that. But the prerequisite for this course is zero. There is no prerequisite. I will start everything from the scratch itself.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So I am stopping the recordings.